Three, two, one. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Tour de Suisse preview. My name is Jesper Anker, and once again, I'm joined by my good friend David Hunter. How are you, man?
Good.
So, most people say that Swiss is inferior to the Critérium du Dauphiné, and most riders choose to go to the Dauphiné instead of Swiss because it's a better race. Would you agree?
Not necessarily. I think most tour contenders go to the Dauphiné because you have an extra week's rest.
And it's hosted by the ESO.
And it is, it's always nice, and they do like to try and make it like a little kind of mini tour and stuff. But Tour de Suisse, if you are a proper contender for the tour, 2 weeks in between the end and the start of the Tour de France is just not it's not long enough. You need that extra week. So TJ Van Garderen will be wondering why he's been sent here, and Richie Porte's been sent to the Dauphiné.
Well, Porter's looking good, apparently, from looking at the results list over in Dauphiné.
He's looking very good. It helps when you're 58 kilograms.
It also helps that there's only a 1 week stage race, so he's actually got a shot at doing well over there. But I mean, this year they really stepped it up over here in Switzerland. I mean, looking at this parkour, what is it, 3 days in a row where they go above 2,000 meters of altitude? And these are tough mountains. I think I can't pronounce one of them. It was used last year as well, where Dumoulin cracked. So stellar racing with a good field. Usually, Rui Costa has like swept up everything here in the last couple of years of Swiss, but last year he decided to go to the Dauphiné instead. This year he's here. Let's dive into the parkour. We start off as usual with it's called the prologue. It's not stage one, it's a prologue. I'll try to remember that.
No, no, no. After all the time trying to get this right, the Tour de Suisse call it stage one. Despite it being prologue length.
What? I cannot win. I cannot be right. Oh my goodness.
The one day you get it right.
I feel like the odds are stacked against me. I feel like whatever I do, the house always wins. This feels wrong, man. So stage one, it's a prologue. It looks tough on paper, but that's because they use these 3D models for their stage profiles. But just how tough is this prologue?
It's not tough. Not tough at all. If you look at 3D profile, it looks like a big mountain in it. If you look at the road map, it looks like a big hill. Nah, it's barely a hill.
Yeah, just like the entire way, it looks like it's gradually going upwards. But I think it's like the last percentage, which really looks tough. I think it's like 0.5 or something like that. So it's nothing. But we look at the crowd here. I mean, first name that comes to mind, Fabian Cancellara. Last Tour de Suisse, is he going to start here with a bang?
Problem is the weather. It looks like it's going to rain a lot. Thunderstorms are predicted. It looks like the later starters are going to get the worst of it. Now, Cancellara, last Tour de Suisse, big star name, he has to go off. He's second from last because Spilak is reigning champion. He goes off last. So he will probably get the worst end of the weather, which will say no win for Fabian. Early starters all the way tomorrow.
That's a shame. So who are the early starters, or the big guys from the early starters?
I don't know, you might not think of them as being big names, but we've got riders like Reto Hollenstein of I Am Cycling who goes off very, very early. Swiss rider, third in the prologue in the Tour of Belgium. He will go very, very fast.
Adding to that, the Giro was great for Hollenstein. No, that was not the Giro. The Romandy was it? That was great for Hollenstein too.
He's had a couple of good results so far this season. He's improving. He's 30. He's a rider who probably most people haven't heard of that much. This season he's definitely stepped up. Our good friend Ties Minute goes out early, as does Kiwi powerhouse Paddy Bevan. We've also got Danny Van Poppel, Gilbert, Brandl. So we've got a few riders, Rui Costa, Peter Sagan, TJ Van Garderen. So quite a few of the riders are wanting to go early, which suggests that they know the weather is poor. The big riders, Cancellara, Spilak, Thomas, they're all having to start late.
So what are the odds that we see a repeat of what we saw in Paris-Nice, where Matthews stole the glory from Dumoulin on there, where Matthews actually also at this race together with Peter Sagan?
He rides at the end as well. So this prologue, this time trial is going to be decided by the weather.
That's really a shame though. Like the weather seems to always hit at the worst times here in the time trials, this year at least.
It is, but we can't ride on that indoor track, so it's the risk you've got to take when you go for a time trial.
Imagine a time trial on an indoor track. Now you got those images flowing up in my mind. That'd be great. Put him like a 5K circuit on the velodrome. I mean, imagine having a Minuteman on the velodrome. How would that work? I mean, would you get thrown out like Alexei Tashevich? But so you're saying the early starters? Those are not names that everyone's familiar with. Out of those early starters, who would you deem to be the fastest?
Hollenstein.
It's a name that's really been popping up. I can't seem to remember because there was another race in Romandy where he also put in a big time. Was it Belgium I'm thinking about? Because I was commentating that race, so it probably was Belgium.
Belgium maybe was third.
Yeah, that was a good race with Dries Divenens also out there from IM Cycling.
Yeah.
Then the next day, we stay here in Bar, I believe this is called, where, again, looking at the profile, it looks like a lumpy day out here in the saddle, but is it?
Well, there's a lot of climbing. 2,124 metres of climbing throughout the day, which is fairly considerable. For some races, that would be like a Queen stage. The Cat 2 climb is not that hard, 4.4 kilometres at 4.9%. I've seen harder Tour de Suisse days. Now, we lack what you would call pure sprinters here because it's such a demanding parkour. So the sprinters that we do have should really be contending for the end of this stage. We have Matthews, we have Gaviria, we have Sagan, we have Van Poppel, we have Lobato. So all of those, if we want to call them sprinters, all those sprinters can climb extremely well. I mean, basically we've got Peter Sagan and then the best two Peter Sagan replacements going in Gaviria and Matthews. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Cannot wait to see the young Colombian Gaviria go up against two of the best riders in the world and potentially beat both of them.
Just imagine young Fernando Gaviria could have been a Milano San Remo winner already. You could have been a monument winner at his age. He's going to go up against Peter Sagan here in this race. Adding to that list, I would add Tosh van der Sande. He's a name from Lotto Soudal that just keeps popping up in similar races like this, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him go top 3 behind Matthews, Sagan, and Gaviria. Look at that lead-out train. It's always an important thing here. Which team has got the strongest lead-out train?
Do you know what? Most of them don't have a particularly good lead-out train at all. Sagan does not have Benatti. He's got Gatto, who he's used to working with. He's got Bodnar, so he's got a couple of riders in there. With so many teams just bringing GC contenders, we don't really have big, long trains. Ethics potentially are a little bit different because they don't have an overall rider. They have Kaiser, they have Vakoc, Lampard, Vermont, and Richese, who will lead out Gaviria at the end. So to answer your question, I think Ethics probably have the strongest train here. They're the only team that come fully focused on just sprints.
It'll be fun to watch because the first few stages, when you look at the parkour, they're really suited for the sprinters. There are a few opportunities for a late attack since there are no big sprint trains like we see in the Dauphiné, where we see Bohani versus Christoph, where you see them headbutting each other. So there are possibilities for late attackers, but they've kind of split the Tour de Suisse in two, where you start with a bunch of sprints, and then you end in madness, hell, and whatsoever in the high mountains and the high Alps. So look at the first few, what is it, 3 stages that are going to be sprint stages?
Yeah.
So looking at that, who's going to share the spoils, or is it going to be Peter Sagan taking it all?
I don't think so. Stage 3 is a bit more challenging. We have a lap circuit which has 3 climbs. One of them is 1.3 kilometres at 11.5%, and the other one is 2.2 kilometres at 6.5%. So they're quite tough, but we do have a descent and then a bit of flat towards the end. And then the next stage, on stage 4, the climb is only 1.7 kilometres at 4.1%. We do have a Cat 2 climb very early in the day, but stage 4 is about as flat as I think I've ever seen a Tour de Suisse stage. Sagan, Matthews, Sagan and Gaviria, I think for me, Matthews is not quite as fast as those two. Van Poppel will certainly be in the mix. He's looking quite strong for Team Sky just now. I am interested to see if Sagan can match Gaviria. In my book, Gaviria is faster.
Sagan looked good over in the American Tour of California, where there was in particular that one stage where he was like 6 or 7 positions back with 200 meters to go, and he skyrocketed out of the front like a Dan McClay type of move. So I wouldn't put it past Peter Sagan to put in a good effort here at the Tour de Suisse. How about the weather? So we talked about in the prologue that the weather was going to play a big role. How about in these more flatter stages?
Bound to rain. It always rains in Switzerland. Somebody tweeted, one of the Trek press people tweeted a picture just yesterday of torrential rain. So I would imagine we'll have some rainy conditions throughout the week.
And so we'll see a bunch of crashes. Is that what we say?
Not necessarily. The riders will not want to take too many risks with the Tour de France coming up.
See, actually, I think the last Tour de France winner to have entered after racing the Tour de Suisse was Lance Armstrong back in 2001. So, I mean, it could happen this year with Geraint Thomas taking over for Froome, but the odds of that actually happening are slim to none. Then we hit the mountains. And these are mountains. Like, these are nuts. Like, just look at the first day they're going to hit mountains. You've got 2 odd category climbs followed by a Cat 1 as well. Why do you want to race this race? Like, how many are going to pull out the day before this?
Not many. I think the sprinters, so-called sprinters who come here, they want to get the mountains under their belt. It's not like Buhani and his whole this team who stepped off the race today. If we want to talk about a lack of respect for a race, there you go, right there. Gaviria, Sagan, Matthews, they'll all be riding this race till the bitter end, I would imagine. Finishing climb here is 10 kilometres at 8.9%. Welcome to the Tour de Suisse.
This is great though, because also the thing is we don't have the best climbers in the world. We don't have Froome, we don't have Contador, we don't have Quintana here. We got like the second best climbers, so it's always fun to see who brought their A game. So speaking about that, Rui Costa, the guy I mentioned before, Simon Spilak, Geraint Thomas, TJ Van Garderen, as you mentioned. Who's gonna be the most ready for this?
There's a delicate balance here because Thomas and Van Garderen are going to go to the Tour de France, and both of them will expect to feature in the top 5. So they have to manage their reserves very, very carefully. There is no way you can win this race and then go on to be a serious contender for the Tour de France. This race is so hard this year. You're going to leave so much here that you will be empty come kind of week 3 of the Tour. So Thomas and Van Garderen have an interesting choice to make. Obviously, they don't just want to freewheel round. They want to be competitive. They will possibly hope that the climbing speeds are a little bit slower, and the other riders who are here aren't, they aren't brilliant. Let's be honest. They are not the best climbers in the world, as you've mentioned. So it's a very delicate balancing act coming to the Tour de Suisse, and it makes it hard to predict.
Very hard. Like, just having to write down the stars, you have to leave off so many good names, but the names you have left, you think, can they really win? So it makes it for a fun race. But since this terrain is so tough, doesn't it lend itself more to a breakaway victory? Because who's going to control the pace? I do know that Sky is here, but will they still do the pacing?
Yeah. I mean, going into that stage, a sprinters team will probably be in charge. So very early on, because the HC climb at 60 kilometres goes up to over 2,400 metres. So the sprinters team, the lead team will be out the back door very early, and they'll be over to Sky, Movistar, BMC, Astana to take control, and they will do. It'll be the normal mix, maybe a couple of GC days, couple of breakaway days.
It's a good thing Valverde isn't here, with all these times passing over 2,000 meters altitude. I still can't get over that a climber of his caliber says, I don't really do well at those altitudes. So that's going to be something I quite a while. But hey, he ended up doing a great Giro d'Italia in the end. Then we just have a next day, stage 6. I mean, this just keeps on continuing, doesn't it?
Yeah, so 6, we've got a HC category climb after 100k, and then we have a first cat climb, which is 6.9 kilometres at 12%.
Like this.
Yeah. Very, very demanding, double digit average gradient over 7k is just so hard. A lot of the riders will be scratching their heads wondering why on earth they're not at the Dauphiné.
Who would light it up though? Like who would be the one who goes early out of the lot that's here right now?
Sky seem keen in the Dauphiné, certainly to put riders up the road early on in climbs, so they might go for that tactic here. They do have a strong team as per usual. You've got riders like Leopold Koenig, David Lopez, so you've got riders who can attack and go long. Astana do love to mix things up a bit, so we might see Astana do it as well. But the climbs are so hard that it'll probably just be a survival of the fittest, and we'll just have to wait and see who's left at the end.
I'm looking forward to seeing Vasil Kirienka putting on the Giro del Trentino pants, going to the front, and just pacing the entire peloton down until it's like this big. It's always a joy seeing Kirienka doing his work. I mean, that guy, he is the best domestique in the business once it starts to go uphill, in my opinion. Then we have one last climb before I believe we have the time trial. Yes, we do. Where some say this is a very poorly designed stage because it reminds them all of the Mont Ventoux stage that they used in the Tour de France a couple of years ago, which I believe they're using this year again, where it's just flat and then it goes up.
Yeah, and it goes up and up and up and up to almost 2,700 meters. So you're going to have to really cope well with altitude to do well in this race. I mean, 2,700 meters is a ridiculous height you've got to climb to. The final climb itself is 10.1 kilometers at 12.2%. You won't really come across a climb as hard as this probably most of your career, let's be honest, not even just in this year. So this is a extreme test of climbing and altitude, which should suit a little Colombian.
See, we're talking about Lopez here?
We are Superman himself.
See, there's been talk about his lack of form. We just have to confirm that we're actually thinking of the same one. Because there's also Atapuma, who potentially could do something here, because he looked good in the Giro d'Italia, perhaps tired legs, but doesn't the lack of form for Lopez concern you?
No. He's only 22. I expected a lot from him this season, and for him, he started well. He took stage win in San Luis, stage win in Langkawi, then kind of disappointing, to be honest, but he is young and he is going to go and ride the Vuelta a España, so he's got to just peak nicely for that. He's just a kid. He can't maintain a big long peak throughout the whole season, so I think this is the time we should start seeing him at his best again, and if we do see him at his best at these altitudes, he's going to start flying.
See, the pre-race favourite and also the bookies' favourite right now, TJ Van Garderen, how does he cope with these sort of meters at altitude?
He does well. The American races he's won in the past usually has high altitude in them as well. So Van Garderen will cope okay with the altitude. It's just how deep he wants to go into his reserves with the Tour just 2 weeks away.
And if he's going to catch a stomach bug. That always seems to be a thing for TJ Van Garderen at these sort of races. Then we have a time trial that in the past editions actually used to be like 30 to 40 kilometers, but this year make sure that the time trial is not going to be all too decisive. They cut it down to 16 kilometers. And looking at some of the GC guys that could gain time, we're looking at Ian Isagira, we're looking at a TJ Van Garderen. How much time could they get on the rest here?
Not enough. After the 3 days in the mountains, the course design is your guarantee, and the top climber will win this race. It's not going to be decided by TT kilometres, despite the fact we have over 20 in the race. Those 3 stages are brutal, and legs will be very, very tired coming down off those 3 mountain stages. So I would expect that the climber who does the best will hang on and win overall. Over 17 kilometres, a poor TT rider could lose about a minute to some of the better riders. But as I say, I think they'll be okay. I think they'll have enough time in the bag off the mountain.
At this point in the race, which team has the leadership? Just making a wild assumption at this point, after all the mountains.
Movistar.
Good pick. That's a really good pick. And so it's going to be interesting to see how, because again, we are in Switzerland. The rain is not good. Once again, looking at the forecasters, also forecasted to be rain here. So you're looking at the early starters. This time, perhaps a Fabian Cancellara could go out well, because at this point in the race, he should have lost time, unless he pulls back the years, follows up the incredible gradients, and hangs on to a magnificent.
Couple of big TT riders here. Cancellara, Kirienka will both go full gas for this one. It's not quite long enough for Kirienka. It should be Cancellara's swan song in Switzerland, I would imagine.
Crossing fingers. It'd be great. It's his last entry here at the Tour de Suisse. It'd be great to see him finishing off with victory here. And then you'd think the last day would be somewhat of a parade, but no, then we go right back into the mountains and we go right back up above 2,000 meters.
Yeah, it's only 117 kilometres. Within that, they managed to pack in 2 more HC climbs, both about 2,300, 2,400 metres. The final one is 13 kilometres at 7.4%. It crests with 17k to go. So if you do lose time in the time trial, there is still the opportunity to take it back on the final day.
See, over in the Dauphiné, all the stages are pretty much short, and all the riders say that those are the hardest. And I believe this is also the shortest mountain stage in the race. What are the odds of, let's say a GC guy's lost a bit of time and that team is going to lit it up on the first mountain pass. What are the odds of that happening? Like a Contador attack?
Looking at the riders here, I don't think many of them are capable of being able to do that and maintain it for the rest of the stage. And whoever's in the team leader, it'll be a strong team, so they'll be able to control things. It looks a good day for a breakaway.
It does, especially with the descent to the finishing line. It's a new addition in recent time that the organizers really like, but I mean, it's the only one here at the Swiss, so be good. Moving on to the star section. It's been a swift preview so far, but I mean, not much to say. It's either a sprint or it's up into heaven. Star sections. Why don't you go ahead with your 1-star listing?
So we're still with riders who are 100 to 1 or more.
Yeah, I checked this time.
In the 1-star section. I didn't remind you of this, Jesper. I presume you're okay.
See, I remember the rules.
I've gone for Leopold Koenig, winner Anna Kona, and Christian Durasek.
See, I like how we managed to pick completely different 1-star riders, even though there are not that many good ones at 101 to above. So just pick one of those riders and explain just why that pick.
Anna Kona, he's good. He's really good. I remember him at the Tour last season for Quintana, particularly strong on Alpe d'Huez. He will cope very well with the altitude. He will be here to ride for Yoni Zagiri. But if he gets an opportunity, he will take it. He is getting kilometres in the leg to make sure he is strong to help Nero come July.
Yeah, I've gone with a different Sky Rider because I agree with you that it's a good shot that it won't be Geraint Thomas who's going to be the best up there, but he will be there. Vasil Kiriyenka. There's just something about this guy that I really do like. He's going to be a workhorse, but the way that Sky has been riding right now, they've been looking away from that sort of like, doing the train being... Empire and all that sort of stuff. Seeing Landa go on the attack, seeing Hinao go on the attack. Imagine if Kiriyenka was let off the front and just kind of like...
Get his back, Arlington Kirby.
Yeah. It'd be good, man. Then, Pierre-Roger Latour. This guy has been good this year. This guy's a future Grand Tour winner. I believe he was like 100 and something to 1, and he was second behind Thibaut Pinot in Couture International a while back. And he's got potential to do something here, along with his fellow Frenchman, Hubert Dupont, which is very difficult to say, who actually pulled somewhat of a Heimer Subaldia at the Giro. He managed to finish 11th due to being in the breakaway day in, day out, and that's not an easy task. And so it'd be kind of a stretch to see these two Frenchmen go well here, but the possibility is there. Definitely better than Christian Durasek.
Really?
Yes.
Don't rate Mr. Durasek?
Do I feel a bet coming?
Don't rate Mr. Durasek, no?
No. I see him more as a breakaway specialist for one of these stages. For him to go for the GC, it'd be difficult.
Winner of the Tour of Turkey last year.
I know, I remember. It's just still, this is not Turkey. This is Swiss.
Latour's a better rider than Durasek, I'll give you that. But Latour, is he still a Neo-Pro? I can't remember. He seems to have been Neo-Pro for about 40 years. So.
But does it matter when you've got the potential? I'm still upset, by the way, with Alaphilippe not being able to be a 1-star rider for the Dauphiné. Look at how well he's doing!
Wait till tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, tomorrow he'll win. 2-star riders.
2 stars, right, okay. 3-time champion Rui Costa, Superman Lopez, and Wilco Kelderman.
I like the Wilco Kelderman pick. I was initially going actually for Robert Gessing, but it seems like he's going to be working for Velon with their onboard camera. And no GC guy would ever allow that extra amount of weight on their bike.
Bum cam.
Seeing Nasser Bohani from behind is at a whole nother level how douchiness that guy is. Talk about Wilco Kelderman, though.
I like him. He's sometimes a frustrating rider, but he has got bags of talent. Jumbo are riding high just now after Kruijsweg's spectacular performance in the Giro. Kelderman and Hissink are here after a training camp at altitude. They're preparing for the Tour. For me, Kelderman's a better rider than Hissink. Hissink has had many chances in the past, and I think it's time for Kelderman to do it. He might struggle at the real kind of high altitudes compared to some of the other riders, but he should do well. Lopez, I really think he's going to go well in this race. I think it's about time he stepped up. The altitude should be perfect for him. Rui Costa, I think the climbs are just too hard for him this year. I really do. I think it's such a demanding edition. But there is always the chance that the climbing is a little bit slower, and he'll benefit from that. Don't get me wrong, he's a wonderful rider, and it would be good to see him winning it again for a fourth time. He's already got 5 stage wins here as well, so good solid 2-star picks there, I would say.
Definitely, but you're missing a few. First up, you gotta have the local Matthias Frank on your team. This seems like always when you're riding in your home country, you do better, and for Matthias Frank to go top 5 here, in my world, it's not out of the question, even though these climbs are very difficult. He's been doing very well this year, and I'd expect him to do a good result here now that I'm cycling is closing down. Ian Isagire, I've actually put him here at 2-star list. And it's for the same reason that you put Rui Costa at your 2-star list. It's when it starts to go really uphill, I struggle to see him follow the best, even though he's on Movistar, one of the most winning teams, even though he is one of the best riders on that team, even though the time trial suits him. There will just be a day where he's gonna falter. No, I know it sounds like he's looking good. I know that everyone's talking him up as their wild horse, and I've done it before as well, but at this race, that many days, he just won't be able to cope, in my opinion. And then last but not least, might be a surprise, but Geraint Thomas. He's been talked about as the Tour de France hope, and for him to put in, let's say, a winning performance here, we've said time and time again, they're gonna be dead at the end of the Tour de Suisse. And Geraint Thomas, for him to win this race, he really needs to put in a big dig. And I think he's going to be having his eyes on the Tour de France that's coming in, 2 weeks now? Fighting.
Very.
Your 3-star list, which probably got a lot of my 2-star.
Isagire, Thomas, Van Garderen. So Isagire, there was a lot of compliments that you paid him before you cut him down at the
I know, that was the point of that.
4th in Valenciana, where he crashed in the time trial. He would have been probably 1st or 2nd. 2nd in Algarve, 5th in Paris-Nice, winner of GP Miguel Indurain, 3rd in Romandy. Outstanding season by the Spaniard. When he is not riding for Quintana or Valverde, he takes his chance. He knows he doesn't get it very often, so he seizes that opportunity. He'll be riding the Tour de France as a teammate of Quintana's, as a domestique of Quintana's. He is going to pull out a big result here. He is not afraid of steep sections. He copes very well when he does the Basque Country. I think Isagire is going to be one of the riders of the race. Thomas is going to be very good here. One thing that's in my head about Tour de France is Landa's now going. So if they have a very informed Mikel Landa, Thomas can be a little bit off, and it's okay for Froome. Now, Thomas will still want to contend for the Tour and be kind of top 5, but I think it's about winning races for Geraint Thomas because he's not had that many. Obviously, he won Paris-Nice. He came very close here last season. That experience of winning big stage races, I think he needs it. I think he'll actually go full gas for this one. Van Garderen, I'm not too sure about.
We're in Europe, man.
What he'll do. As you mentioned, yeah, we're in Europe. He's not won a stage race in Europe yet. We'll just have to wait and see. I think he'll be looking at Port's performance in the Dauphiné and think, I've got to lift my game here, otherwise Port will be the leader. So there's going to be some competition between those two. It might force Van Garderen into a big performance.
Yeah, I like the names you're putting out for your 2- and 3-star list, and I like how we completely switched them around almost for good reasons as well. My 3-star list, first of all, statistics don't lie. This year might be the toughest ever edition of the Tour de Suisse, but Rui Costa has got to be in your 3-star list. If it wasn't for the fact that he went to Dauphiné last year, he would have won it 4 times in a row. And I think Rui Costa can actually cope well, especially because it's going to rain, and that's going to really factor in. And for that exact same reason, a rider that we haven't mentioned yet, last year, well, we haven't mentioned very briefly, but last year's winner, Simon Spilak, is not on any of your star lists, but he's got to be on your 3-star list. When it rains, it goes up. Simon Spilak. There's just kind of 3 things that go together. It's Mr. Consistent, man. Come on.
Not any consistent, though, Mr. Consistent. He's lost his consistency.
It hasn't been raining that much this year, and now we're going to Switzerland where it's raining every single day, man. So, Simon Spilak.
He's been poor this season.
He has, but at some point that's got to change, right? Can't be poor the entire season throughout. At some point you got to peak.
He could be poor the entire season.
I'm banking my credibility, what's left of it, on Simon Spilak not being poor at this race. And then, last but not least, the man who will have to do well here, TJ Van Garderen. It's been a while since he's done well, here in Europe at least. And I look at this crowd of people going to Tour de Suisse, and he's the strongest climber by far. He's the only one who'll be able to follow Froome on an uphill segment, except for Simon Spiel recently. But look at TJ Van Garderen, and just look at the rest of the guys. He's a step above, and I think TJ Van Garderen's finally going to get a victory. What do you think?
He's a geary.
Like you.
I do. I think he's a quality climber. He's a quality rider. He rides for a wonderful team. He takes his opportunities. I mean, I read out his Palmares from this season. Significant results, outstanding results. To come third in Romandie, where he beat Costa, he beat Spilak, he beat Froome, he beat Van Garderen. I think it rained there as well. That's also in Switzerland. So I think Easy Geary's the man to beat in this race. Movistar come in, backing him up. They've got a strong team. He will want a big result before he goes off and rides for Quintana. So looking at the team, they've got Anacona, who I mentioned already. They've got Dowsett. They've got Gorka Izagirre. So they've got riders who will stay with them in the hills for a long time. And I hope, actually, that he goes on and gets a big result.
I remember the times when I tried to bargain with you to get Ian Izagirre as my wild card, as dark horse for the race. Those were the times. Time just flies by, man. So, who do you guys think is going to win the Tour de Suisse? I'm on TJ Van Garderen. He's on the wild horse, Ian Izagirre, if you can still call him that. It's going to be a great showdown. I hope you guys are enjoying the Dauphiné. It's not all about that French race, because here over in Switzerland, we actually got tougher climbs. So, be on the lookout for that. It's actually not, David. You said it was going to be on Eurosport. It's actually not going to be. I don't know. It doesn't look like it. I did the research.
Tomorrow it's on the Eurosport Player, and then highlights are on, and then on Sunday it's live.
So that's why I couldn't find it. But tomorrow it will be without commentary. It looks like. And so,
yes.
And so for that, I will be providing commentary. I'll be bringing on new guests. You already met Janos, you met Remy, and now you're going to meet a new guy called Joseph, who used to work for Cycling Quotes. So it's going to be interesting hearing their thoughts behind their entire preview and coming on here. So
hopefully it doesn't list 43 riders.
Well, we've got like 2 hours to talk through, so I mean...
Can talk about every rider then. It'll be a classic Cycling Coach preview.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it. He's got that thick Sean Kelly Irish accent. I mean, you either love it or you hate it. I kind of like it, so it'll be fun to watch that. Thank you guys for watching. It's been our Tour de Suisse preview, and we'll see you guys for the next one, which I actually believe will be the Tour. So, crazy, man. Coming up real soon, so enjoy your time, ladies and gentlemen.